Disclaimer: this story explores mature emotional themes, including love, trust, and difficult choices. It does not contain explicit material, but viewer discretion is advised. I never thought love could feel this fragile, like holding a glass sculpture in my hands, afraid that the slightest misstep could shatter it forever. But that's exactly where I found myself the night my wife, Emily, made a choice that left me completely helpless. Emily and I had been married for 5 years. We weren't just husband and wife, we were best friends, partners in everything. I still remember the way she looked at me on our wedding day, her green eyes filled with promises we were determined to keep. But love isn't always about beautiful moments. Sometimes, it's about surviving the storms together. And sometimes, you're left wondering if the person standing beside you is still holding your hand or letting go. It all started on an ordinary evening, or at least, that's what I thought. We had just finished dinner, laughing about something ridiculous. Emily reached across the table, squeezing my hand, and for a moment, everything felt like it always had. Safe. Warm. Ours. But then her expression changed. A hesitation flickered in her eyes, like she was battling with something inside her. "Daniel," she said softly, "we need to talk." I chuckled, trying to shake the sudden unease. That's never a good way to start a conversation. She didn't laugh. That's when I knew. Whatever she was about to say, whatever choice she had already made, it was going to change everything. My heart pounded as she took a deep breath. "I've been offered a job, but it's not here. It's across the country. And they need me to start next month." Silence wrapped around us, thick and suffocating. I blinked, trying to process her words. Emily was brilliant at what she did. She had worked so hard for opportunities like this, and I had always been her biggest supporter. But this wasn't just a career decision. This was a choice that would redefine our entire future. She bit her lip, nervous. "I don't expect you to just pick up and move, Daniel. I know you have your life here, your work, your roots. But I can't turn this down. It's everything I've ever wanted." Her voice cracked on the last word, and that's when it hit me, she had already decided. She wasn't asking for my opinion. She was telling me she was going. A lump formed in my throat, and for the first time in our marriage, I felt powerless. How do you fight for someone who's already chosen a path without you? I looked at her, the woman I loved more than anything, and for the first time, I wondered, was love enough to keep us together? I stared at Emily, my mind racing to catch up with what she had just said. She was leaving. She had already decided. And I had no idea what that meant for us. For 5 years, we had built a life together, one filled with whispered dreams and lazy Sunday mornings, with small arguments over what movie to watch and passionate apologies that made us fall in love all over again. But now, in a matter of minutes, it felt like everything was slipping through my fingers. I swallowed hard, trying to keep my voice steady. "So, what happens to us?" She looked down, rubbing her thumb over the back of my hand, a habit she had when she was anxious. "I don't know, Daniel," she admitted. "I don't want to lose you. But I can't ignore this opportunity either." Her words stung. Not because I didn't understand, but because I did. Emily had always been ambitious. It was one of the things I admired about her, the way she chased her dreams with relentless determination. But I had never imagined that one of those dreams might take her away from me. I leaned back, running a hand through my hair. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" My voice came out quieter than I intended. She hesitated. "Because I was scared." "Scared of what?" "That you'd tell me not to go." Her voice broke slightly, and she took a shaky breath. "And I was scared that if I did go, you wouldn't come with me." Silence stretched between us. I wanted to say something, to fix this, to find a way where neither of us had to lose. But what was the solution? If I asked her to stay, I'd be the one holding her back. And if I went with her, what would that mean for my own life? My job, my family, the home we had built together. Emily's eyes shimmered with unshed tears. "I love you, Daniel. That hasn't changed. But I don't know how to make this decision without hurting one of us." Her honesty cut straight through me. There was no villain in this story. Just two people who loved each other, caught between choices that had no easy answers. I reached for her hand, holding it tighter this time. Then let's figure it out together. She met my gaze, searching for something, hope, reassurance, a promise that we wouldn't fall apart. And though I didn't have all the answers, I wasn't ready to give up on us. Not yet. But as the night stretched on, and the weight of her decision loomed between us, I couldn't shake the gnawing fear that love alone might not be enough to keep us together. The days that followed Emily's revelation were filled with a silence I had never known before. We still ate dinner together, still lay beside each other at night, but something had shifted. The space between us felt heavier, like an invisible wall neither of us wanted to acknowledge. I tried to be supportive. I really did. I asked about the job, about the city she would be moving to, about the new life she was preparing for. And every time I did, I felt like I was helping her pack not just her bags, but our entire relationship. Then, one evening, I found myself sitting alone in the living room while she took a call in the bedroom. I could hear her voice through the thin walls, soft but excited, like she was already stepping into a future I wasn't a part of. A tightness settled in my chest. I needed air. Grabbing my jacket, I stepped outside, hoping the cold would clear my head. I ended up at the bar down the street, the one where we had spent countless Friday nights together. The bartender, an old friend, gave me a knowing look. Rough night. I let out a humorless laugh. Something like that. Before I could say more, a familiar voice called my name. I turned and saw James, my best friend since college, sitting at a corner table. He waved me over, a beer already waiting for me. You look like a guy with a problem, James said as I sat down. That obvious? He took a sip of his drink. Let me guess. Emily? I nodded, staring at the condensation on my glass. She's leaving, James. She got this big job offer, and I don't know what to do. James leaned back. So what's stopping you from going with her? I sighed, rubbing a hand over my face. Everything. My job, my family, the life we built here. I love her, but I don't want to lose myself either. He was quiet for a moment, then said, then maybe the real question isn't whether you should follow her. Maybe it's whether she's willing to fight for you the same way you're fighting for her. His words hit me like a punch to the gut. I had spent every second since she told me trying to figure out how to make it work for her. But had she ever stopped to ask what I wanted? For the first time, doubt crept in. Had Emily already made her choice not just about her career, but about us? As I sat there, staring at my untouched drink, I realized something terrifying. The real fight wasn't just about distance or careers. It was about whether we were still standing on the same side. And I wasn't sure if we were anymore. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed beside Emily, staring at the ceiling, her soft breaths the only sound in the room. For the first time in our marriage, I felt like we were miles apart even though she was right next to me. By morning, I had made my decision. I needed answers. When she woke up, stretching under the blankets, I turned to her. We need to talk, I said, echoing the words that had started this whole mess. Her smile faded. She sat up, tucking her hair behind her ear. I know. I took a deep breath. Do you want me to come with you? Her brow furrowed. Of course I do, Daniel. But I would never ask you to uproot your life for me. I leaned forward, searching her face. That's just it, Emily. You never asked. You just decided. You assumed that either I'd follow or I wouldn't, but you never once asked what I wanted. Her lips parted, but she didn't speak right away. I could see the conflict in her eyes, the guilt, the love. I thought if I asked, it would put too much pressure on you. I shook my head. No, Emily. It's because you were afraid of the answer. Tears welled up in her eyes. Daniel, I love you. But this job, this chance, it's something I've worked my whole life for. I was scared that if I put it in your hands, if I let you decide our future, you'd ask me to stay. Silence stretched between us, thick and suffocating. I clenched my jaw. And if I did? If I asked you to stay, would you? Her hands tightened around the blanket. I don't know, she whispered. My heart clenched painfully. There it was. The truth. Emily wasn't just choosing her career. She was choosing herself over us. And maybe she had that right. Maybe love wasn't supposed to mean sacrificing your dreams. But shouldn't love also mean fighting for each other? Emily, I said, voice raw, I've been fighting to find a way to make this work. But it feels like I'm the only one trying. A tear slipped down her cheek. That's not true. Then prove it. She blinked at me, startled. Tell me you'll fight for us too, I said, my voice almost breaking. Tell me we're not just an afterthought to your future. For the first time, real fear flashed in her eyes. Because she knew if she couldn't say those words, she was going to lose me. And I wasn't sure she was ready for that. Emily's silence stretched between us, thick and suffocating. My heart pounded as I waited for her to tell me that she would fight for us. That she wouldn't just let our love become collateral damage in her pursuit of success. Then, finally, she whispered, Daniel, there's something I haven't told you. A chill ran through me. What? She swallowed hard, gripping the blanket like it was the only thing holding her together. The job offer, it's not just for me. I frowned. What do you mean? She hesitated, her fingers trembling as she reached for mine. They offered you a position too. The room spun. What? She nodded quickly, tears glistening in her eyes. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you to feel forced into it. I wanted you to make a choice for yourself, not just follow me out of obligation. My breath caught. Emily, are you serious? She reached into the drawer beside the bed, pulling out a crisp white envelope. My hands shook as I took it, my eyes scanning the letter inside. My name was there, an official job offer, working in the same city she'd been offered a position. I looked up at her, shock colliding with a storm of emotions. How long have you known about this? She bit her lip. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. The weight of those words sank in like a stone. All the nights I had lain awake, torturing myself over what this meant for our future, she had known. She had known there was a way for us to stay together, and she had hidden it. I stood abruptly, my pulse roaring in my ears. Why didn't you tell me? Tears spilled down her cheeks. Because I was scared, Daniel. Scared that you'd take the job just to keep me, not because you wanted it. My fists clenched. So you decided for me. You let me believe this was all or nothing. She sobbed. I didn't want to pressure you into resenting me. I turned away, running a hand over my face. My entire world had flipped in an instant. The agony of choosing between love and my life here had been unnecessary. The suffering, the doubt, the fights, all of it had been because she had kept this from me. I exhaled sharply, my voice hoarse. Emily, do you even trust me? She gasped, shaking her head. Of course I do. But did she? If she had truly believed in us, in me, she would have told me the truth. And now, I wasn't sure which hurt more, the fact that she had lied, or the realization that she had been willing to risk everything we had for the sake of a choice she was never supposed to make alone. The room felt like it was closing in on me. My breath came shallow, my hands still trembling as I gripped the letter. I had spent weeks believing I had to choose between Emily and my own life here. Weeks thinking I would lose her no matter what I decided. And all along, she had held the key to a different outcome, one she hadn't trusted me enough to see for myself. Emily wiped her eyes with shaking hands. Daniel, please. I didn't tell you to hurt you. I was afraid. Afraid of losing you, afraid of making you resent me. I let out a harsh laugh, filled with disbelief. And what do you think this did? She winced but didn't look away. I thought I was protecting us. I thought if I gave you space, you'd make the choice for you, not just for me. I stared at her, my chest tight with something I couldn't even name. Hurt. Anger. Love. Maybe all of it. But it wasn't your choice to make, I said, my voice quieter now, raw with emotion. Emily let out a shaky breath, nodding. I know. And I'm sorry. The silence between us was unbearable. I wanted to run. I wanted to stay. I wanted to hold her, but I also wanted her to feel the weight of what she had done. Then, she did something I never expected. She reached for the letter in my hand and, without hesitation, tore it in half. My eyes widened. Emily, what are you? Her voice trembled, but her gaze was steady. I'm not going if you're not going. I'm choosing us, Daniel. I froze. For the first time, the decision was in my hands. Not hers. Not some company in another city. Mine. I thought about everything, our years together, the love we had built, the way I couldn't imagine waking up without her beside me. And I realized something. I never wanted to live without her. But this couldn't be a sacrifice. Not for either of us. I stepped forward, cupping her face in my hands, my voice barely above a whisper. Emily, I love you. But if we do this, we do it together. No more secrets. No more deciding for each other. Tears streamed down her cheeks, and she nodded. Together. I exhaled, pressing my forehead against hers. Then let's go. Her breath hitched. You mean it? I smiled, genuine, certain. Yeah. But only because I want to. A sob escaped her, but this time, it wasn't one of sadness. It was relief. It was love. She threw her arms around me, and I held her like I never wanted to let go. Because I didn't. For the first time in weeks, the weight in my chest lifted. We weren't choosing between love and dreams. We were choosing both. And this time, we were doing it together. The moment I said the words, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace settle over me. The past few weeks had been filled with so much doubt, uncertainty, and fear of loss, but now, for the first time, I saw clarity. Emily pulled back just enough to search my face, as if she was afraid she had misheard me. You really mean it? I nodded, brushing a loose strand of hair from her damp cheek. I do. But not because I feel like I have to. I want to go, Emily. With you. A mixture of relief and love flooded her expression, and she let out a shaky laugh, her hands tightening around my shirt as if she never wanted to let go. I don't deserve you, she whispered. I smiled softly. We deserve each other. That was the truth. Love wasn't about making sacrifices that left you bitter. It wasn't about choosing one dream over another. It was about finding a way to move forward together, without losing ourselves in the process. And for the first time, that's exactly what we were doing. Over the next few weeks, everything moved faster than I expected. My job offer was still on the table, and after a conversation with the company, I realized that it wasn't just a position, it was an opportunity. One that I had ignored in my fear of losing the life I had built here. I wasn't just following Emily. I was stepping into something that could be great for me too. Packing up our life was emotional. Every piece of our home told a story, movie tickets from our first date tucked into a drawer, a tiny dent in the coffee table from when we tried to build furniture together, Polaroids from random adventures pinned to the fridge. This is harder than I thought it would be, Emily admitted one night, standing in the middle of our half-empty living room. I walked over, wrapping my arms around her. That just means it mattered. She leaned into me, exhaling deeply. Do you think we're making the right choice? I kissed the top of her head. I think we're finally making it together. That was all that mattered. The day we left, we stood in the doorway of our home one last time. Emily squeezed my hand. Ready? I looked at her, the woman I had nearly lost, and smiled. More than ever. As we drove away, I didn't feel regret. I didn't feel fear. I felt excited. Because this wasn't the end of something, it was the beginning. Emily reached for my hand across the console. I love you. I glanced at her, my heart full. I love you too. No more doubts. No more unspoken fears. Just us. Moving forward, side by side. Together. Did you enjoy the story? What kind of stories would you like to hear next? Let me know in the comments.